Everyone fired up over here. By the way, speaking of which, the investment pros today, Jim Frischling, president of NewOak Capital, back with us. Good to have you on a day like today. And I see you lost a little bit of hair today, too. We'll talk about it. Hey, Cal Harrington. But we are seeing more and more news like that. But again, it's news, but it's not new news, right? I mean, it's pile on. We've heard it over and over again, and we will as long as oil goes down.
Well, you highlighted that the Fed played no role today, but Germany did kind of splash a little cold water on the ECB, the European Central Bank, with more stimulus. I also think we had a lot of people talking down earnings and talking down the performance. And then you had KB, which Matt pointed out, Lori pointed out, and it kind of confirmed at least, it reiterated at least what people had started to fear. Guys came running to my office on the KB announcement saying, here's an example of somebody who's already doing this downplay. And I think it spooked some people.
Yeah, all right, guys. Jim, S&P broke under the 50-day moving average. Everyone was saying that's what spooked us. But although, again, you have to, when we were up, I'm still wondering when we were up, what sparked that. But as we went down under the 50-day, that triggered some additional selling.
I think it did. And I think it's important to note that the 50-day is the more volatile and is prone to whipsaws as opposed to the 150-day and the 200. So I try not to be too caught up in the 50-day. But the fact is it did trigger some selling. I think we're not at the bearish reversal yet, but I do think people are concerned that that is the direction we're going. Low commodity prices. And again, not to highlight too much on KB, but if home builders are, supposed to be the big boost and housing the big boost of the economy, then you add the energy issues and now add homes issues. I think that's a bearish sentiment.
Right. Where they say, okay, the risk have gotten too high, and when they start to cash out, you get that avalanche effect.
Well, you said it gave a reason. It triggered some selling. It gave people a reason to say it's below this certain threshold. They can let go of some stuff.
And don't you believe, Charles?
Where can our viewers make some money?
I looked at John Deere. I know they've held up incredibly well. I know crop prices are way down, but again, their performance has been good. I think they're undervalued. I looked at the auto space, particularly auto parts in Tenneco, but also just Ford outright. I do think as the consumers do better, I think the auto industry is doing well. And a name that I think you like, McCormick. Again, the food space.
Sure.
Again, Ford.
He just assumed because it was food, I liked it, right?
We talked about this company, spices. Matt's making dishes and spicing this thing up for.
He's tweeting meatloaf.
Doing the home entertaining. No, McCormick and Ford both increased dividends, and those are two of the reasons I liked it a lot. You get current income, and I think you have some price appreciation ahead of you.
So you have Ford, right, DE, Deere,
yep,
and McCormick, MCK?
MKC.
MKC, okay. Yes. The other one was and to your point, yesterday when Alcoa reported, they gave some pretty strong guidance on demand for trucking, automobiles on the aluminum side. So I think that automobile thing continues. I happen to like US Steel, but I don't know that you have to buy it tomorrow, but I think it's extraordinarily oversold.
I was going to say, I believe in owning great companies. And Kyle, I like your point about diversification. And the other thing I talk about is correlation, meaning if you own J.P. Morgan in all your funds, or J.P. Morgan, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America, and I'm not saying I dislike them, but the fact is you're not as correlated as you think you are because they all tend to move in ways together. So diversification is important. Start with owning great companies, diversify, and watch your correlation because if you get hit in one sector, you might find yourself getting hit in the other.
I mean, if you want to do that, just go buy the spiders.
I'm going to try to balance this out. It'd still be 3-2, but I'm joining Matt with you shouldn't scrap it. The last thing we need is to open up that Pandora's box again and actually spend time with uncertainty and confusion and a lack of direction. Fact is, there's a burgeoning economy now of people who are operating as independent, as consultants, and they can get insurance. So to a certain extent, is it expensive? Yes. Is it enabling companies like me to compete by offering full benefits packages? Yeah, I'll benefit from this.
So let's talk then. Thank you, Jim.
If it stays in, I liked CVS. I think as they're trying to expand more coverage, particularly Medicaid and otherwise, I think CVS will continue to be a beneficiary. I actually just like the company, but I think they particularly win. And just going on the repealed side in a very different way of thinking of it, I like the financials, the big banks. They're going to save money, and if the Republicans can get rid of health care, they can get rid of a lot of other regulation that's going to unleash these banks.
In other words, when the dollar is cheap, people come here from all over the world. They just go to that main store, the main Tiffany store, and buy a whole bunch of stuff. So it hurts us in a lot of ways. And so, Jim, here's the question. Upon further reviews, do the pros outweigh the cons when it comes to King Dollar?
You're not going to let me say it depends, so I'm not going to say that.
You can say depends. Come on.
Well, okay, thank you then.
Sure.
You made the comment about feeling buff, and I think having a strong dollar makes us feel pretty strong, makes us feel very confident, and it also attracts a lot of foreign capital into this country because I do believe that they see us as the best of the best. On the domestic side, the companies that are more domestically focused also benefit from exporting more goods. Where's the negative side? I'm sorry, the ones that are operating more with within our borders
Right.
are doing far better. The negative, I'm sorry,
Right.
is those who are exporting goods are taking a thrashing.
Well, here's the point, though. All right, what do you think, Jim?
And I like the pick because I like the sector particularly, but I will say they're facing fierce competition because as they expand, and even Southwest is going their way, Delta's now flying in their direction. So again, I do like that they're cutting operating costs. I think they're going to do well, but they got fierce competition on there.
No stock here.
I have a hard time believing that all the pent up, the acceleration that led to the 5% GDP growth has all of a sudden been wiped out, and all of a sudden now we're going to find ourselves in this difficulty. So to Kyle's point, I do believe that they are talking down their estimates to try to surprise the upside.
I want